All right, so now to finish this up, I need to go ahead and create 2 circles and this thing, which is a slot. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So the first circle that's easy is the one that's going to be right at the center of this circle. So let me bring this over here just to explain something to you. This circle and this circle, you can identify them as being somewhat the same, and that's what's called out here. This 2x, this funny circle with a line through it, is a diameter sign, and this is 1.25. So the call out, this dimension call out here, is saying that there are 2 circles and they both have the same diameter of 1.25. This slot, it's a circular slot, also has a width of 1.25. So that means that these half circles are also the same size of these 2 circles that are 1.25. Now, there was a question from somebody before, are we supposed to assume that those are circles? Are they cutouts, or are they things that extend out from the part? Unless some depth information is given, I will usually assume that circles and slots like this are holes. So let me go ahead and create that circle. So let me go ahead and create the circle here. So I'll go up and click on the center circle tool. So click on the center of the circle and then somewhere out on its diameter. And I can go ahead and put the Smart Dimension tool and make this a diameter 1.25. We need to position the other circle here. There's a couple different ways of doing it. The easiest way is going to be creating a line. It's not going to be an actual physical edge of the part. There's something called a construction line, and you find that underneath this line. So you have the regular line, and then it's termed a center line in SOLIDWORKS, but in this case it really is what's called a construction line. So I'm going to click on that, and it works just like a regular line. I'm going to come here, and I'm going to pull up in this direction. Again, I'm going to highlight this side so that it knows that I want to be parallel to that, and I'll just click here somewhere else. And in this case, again, double click to end the line. And you'll see that it has this dotted line, which is it's actually a long dash and then a dot and a long dash. That's a symbol for what's referred to as a center line. So I'm still in the sketch tool, but in this I'll switch over and I'll do my circle tool. Click on that, and I'll just drag out. Now, I'm going to show you something. I could put a second dimension on this circle, but remember we were told that both of these circles have the same diameter of 1.25. Notice I can drag the dimensions around. So what I'm going to do here is this circle, I'll select it, and what I'm going to do now is hold my control key down. So I'm holding my control key down, and I'm going to select this circle as well. So that allows me to select the 2 circles. Now when I let go of the control key, I get this little pop-up window that shows different things that I can do. And you'll also see it over here on the left-hand side under the Property Manager that there's a bunch of constraints that are available to me. For this particular one, I don't want them to be tangent. I don't want them to be concentric or co-radial. Those are not things that I want. We'll talk about those later. I just want their diameters to be equal to each other. So I'm going to make them equal. And then when I select over here into the graphics window, you'll see that this equal constraint, let me zoom in just a little, you see that both of these circles now have a little equal constraint next to them. And when you hover over either of those equal constraints, the objects that are equal to each other turn purple to see which ones are associated with that constraint. All right, so we're still blue here because we still have to add in one more dimension, this dimension, which is going to be 5.63. So that's going to be the length of this line. So I'm going to use my Smart Dimension tool, select this line, and I'll pull out. And again, I'm going to use the right mouse click to lock that into it. This has to be 5.63. Now our sketch is fully defined. So we need one more thing. So again, I'm going to use this tool I just showed you about, this center line. So I'll go here and I'll click on center line, and I'll click here. I'll drag across, and I'm going to let the horizontal constraint to be put on. And now when you see that it's the horizontal constraint is there plus the coincident constraint because I'm touching this line. So I'll click, and again hit the escape key to turn off that. And now I could make this out of a bunch of lines, but I'll show you up here on the sketch tool, there is a slot tool. So there's the straight slot tool. So I'm going to click on this one, and you'll see what it does. Put the first point down, put the second point down, and then pull out to get you the radius. So I'll select here and here, and I'm pulling out a little bit. So now all I need to do is just add in the extra dimensions. So go to my Smart Dimension tool. I can go here to the center of that circle, and that should be 3.25. And again, I'll go from the center of this circle to the center of this circle, or the other center point of the slot, and that should be 5. And now I can put in this dimension here, or I could say, I know that this circular arc is going to be the same size as that one. So that's what I'm going to prefer to do. So I'll hit the escape key to get out of the Smart Dimension tool, and I'll select here. Again, holding my control key down, I will select this circle. And when I let go of the control key, the menu opens up here, and I'll make those equal to each other. And I'll just click somewhere here in the graphics window to deselect everything. And again, I should go down here and check to see if the object is fully defined. So now you take a good look at these two sketches, and they should equal each other or look the same. Now, one of the things that's important for me to point out to you is that when you're making a part model, everything does not have to look exactly like the drawing that you're pulling it out of, right? It's fine if all the dimensions do not look the same, because you're not recreating a drawing, you're recreating, or you're making a part that's coming from the drawing itself. So let's just finish this up with an extrusion. So I'll go Features, Extruded Boss. So there isn't a specified thickness for this, so let me make the thickness, I don't know, 0.25. I'll hit OK. And there's my part. Now, if I wanted to make it thicker, I can do that by just left-clicking on Boss Extrude, and there's the option here of editing the extrude feature. You'll also notice that just clicking on the extrusion brings up this dimension here. So there's two different ways of doing it. If you just want to quickly change the extrude distance, you can just double-click here, and it'll give you a little box to re-edit it. So let's make it 0.75. And I'll say I'm done. And then you'll see over here, you say, but nothing happened. Well, there's a little stoplight here that's saying that the part needs to be rebuilt. Now, you can use this up here, or you can use the mouse, the key combination of Control B. Either way, I'll just click the rebuild button. And there's my thickness now that I've rebuilt it. So I'm going to add a material onto it. So in this case, I'm just going to right click and choose ABS plastic. Okay. So it makes it, ABS in this case is translucent, so it's now a see-through part made of plastic. And I'll go up here and check under the Evaluate tab, I'll look at the mass properties, and I have a density, a mass, a volume, and a surface area. And also the center of mass based upon from where I chose the origin to be. So this took a little while to get through, but hopefully you find it helpful to work your way through this type of part.